What's up, guys? thirstydog here, and we finally have some Eldritch Moon goodies out this weekend. And I also have myself a nice little box to share with you guys. And because we have a box, and it's been quite a bit, been some time, I think maybe May was the last time. Let's go ahead and do a beer in a box. This time we have some Great Lakes Chill Wave, which is a double IPA. One of the best IPAs I've ever had. Might be a little biased since, Great Lakes is not too far from me, but I still like to think you'd agree. If you like IPAs, I'm sure you at least enjoy it. And I'm pretty excited to have this one. I think it's the last one in the fridge. So it's a little sad, but it should be pretty tasty. There we go. Put this bottle over here. Take a sip before we start. Oh yeah. Some good stuff. Alright, so let's go ahead and get started. It's the first box I'll be cracking of Eldritch. I've cracked some stuff already, but not a box yet. And I haven't pulled anything crazy except for maybe the Tameo that I got out of a intro pack, which is pretty sweet. I tend to have good luck with intro packs for some reason. I pulled a Gideon out of a Battle for Zendikar one, but nothing crazy out of a pre-release pack. Just kind of sad because it makes it a little bit more difficult to build decks out of, but go ahead and pull some of these out for right now. Alright, let's get started. I'm going to take another sip of my beer before we start. Oh, it's so good. Alright. Pack number 1. Camera's at a kind of a new, strange angle for me, so I'll have to get used to this showing off the cards for you guys. Hopefully it works out okay. I'm going to go straight to the uncommons for each pack. Alright, we have a Haunted Dead. Try to center this up for you guys as best I can. There we go. A Foul Emissary. Really sweet card and pretty clutch in the Emerge decks. Whoa, screwed that up. Your guys already saw what the rare was. We have a Lashweed Lurker. And as you just saw, we have a Coax from the Blind Eternities. This is the Eldrazi Wish card. So for 2 and a blue, sorcery, you may choose an Eldrazi card you own from outside the game or in exile, reveal that card, and put it into your hand. Pretty cool. And we have a Flip Lone Rider, which turns into it that rides as 1. Wolf token. Alright. Put cards here, I guess, kind of on display. Go on to the second pack. Alright, we have Long Road Home, Dusk Feaster, Crop Sigil, and our rare is a Collective Brutality. So this is the black sorcery rare that's escalate. It costs you 2, but you can pay additional by discarding a card. So it's discard outlet as well as a pretty versatile spell. 3 modes are that you have your opponent reveal his or her hand, and you make him discard an instant or sorcery. Or you can get a creature to be -2/-2. Or you can have your opponent lose 2 life and you gain 2 life out of it. Oop. And we have a Midnight Scavengers, which with the rat will meld into this big guy. Actually not sure I'm a fan of the way the camera's set up at the moment, but I think I'll just deal with it for now. It's kind of awkward to angle it like I am. Alright, first uncommon from this pack, we have a Rebel, the Abominable, Hamlet Captain, Faith Unbroken, and a Soul Separator. This is the 3-cost artifact that you can pay 5 and tap and also sacrifice, but you get a 1/1 token out of the card you're exiling from your graveyard, which also turns into a spirit, and it gets all the abilities that the card had. And then the other token you get out of it is just a zombie creature token that has power and toughness equal to the card you exiled. Kind of a neat card. Interesting to see what they're going to do with it, as far as people that can actually build good decks out of new cards. The camera, the angle's so awkward. Alright, so our flip is a Cryptolith Fragment. It's a pretty cool mana rock. You get a Aura of Emrakul out of it, the one for Flying Death Touch. That's if both players or all players are 10 or less health. And if you just saw, we have a sweet Gisela. Nice. Really hoping to get her. She's going to be played for sure. Because if you look at her, she's a 4 converted mana cost, so 2 and 2 white. Legendary creature, Angel Horror. A flyer, has first strike as lifelink, 4/3. It also can meld with Brazella, or no, it turns into Brazella and melds with Bruna, that's right. She turns into this crazy, huge Brazella creature. Forest, an add card. That's a sweet pull so far. Alright, so we have a Graph Harvest for the first uncommon. Deranged Whelp. Mournwillow. It's the zombie lookalike, but really a plant skeleton. Got to see a 1 black and green with haste. 3/2. And our rare is an Assembled Alpha, so this is the 5 and a red wolf creature. It's a 5/5. But whenever it blocks or becomes blocked by a creature, it deals 3 damage to that creature and 3 damage to the creature's controller, which is pretty sweet. You gotta be really careful when you're going into combat with this thing. Put the rare over there, and we have a flip of a Midnight Scavengers. Next pack. Cool to see how many decks make use of Galvanic Bombardment. Let's see if 4 of it becomes pretty nuts. Alright, so we have a Nublegast Herald. Pretty cool spirit. Geist of the Archives. Spirit is kind of weird. A 0/4 defender. But you do get the Scry every upkeep, which is pretty powerful. We have a Noose Constructor. And we have a Harmless Offering, so this is the Gift Sorcery. So target opponent gains control of target permanent you control for 2 in a red. Pretty cool. Let's see that be played. Our flip is a Vilden Pack Outcast, which flips into a Jerome Pack Kindred. And we have a foil Bloodbriar. Pretty sweet looking, actually. I like the background that flashes out from the actual creature. Alright. Next pack. Before I do that, I'll take a sip of some beer. Okay. Like I said, I don't have to get used to this camera angle because it's not super convenient. So if I keep bumping it, we'll see how it works out. So our first uncommon is a Fury Blade Vampire. Just like that, bumped it again with a Scour the Laboratory. A Foul Emissary. And a rare is a New Scarif Mob, which is a 4/2 black zombie that comes out as a 5/5 because of the 5 counters. And whenever a player casts a spell, obviously pump out a 2/2 zombie token, and you remove a counter from it. This is pretty fun in zombie decks. I don't know if it'll see play, probably not, but it's still pretty neat. And Uvenwall Captive is the flip. Next pack. Straight to the uncommons again. We have a Campaign of Vengeance. So this could be interesting in a really wide token deck. For 5 you get 1 life gain and 1 loss gain, or 1 life loss on your opponent for each creature it's attacking. A Thirsting Axe. It's really weird equipment. You have to sacrifice a creature if it didn't do combat damage to a creature this turn. Very weird. Advanced Stitchwing. And we have a Providence. So this is the interesting. Start with your Providence in your hand. You get a benefit out of it, and you also can cast it for 7 and get your life total back to 26 for 5 and 2 white. I think I have foil in here, I believe. I'm not sure. Feels like there's several cards back there. And then we have a Vildan Peck Outcast. We do have a foil. We have an Olivia's Dragoon. I do want to see a Tree of Perdition. Maybe not necessarily early on. It'd be cool to get some bigger hits for some of the earlier stuff I'm opening. But eventually I would like to see a tree or two because that'd be cool to play with. Next pack we have our first uncommon is a Blessed Alliance. Incendiary Flow. Abundant Maw. And our rare is a Dark Salvation. This is pretty sweet zombie-oriented card. We could bet 2x or double X and a black sorcery. Target player puts X 2/2 black zombie creature tokens on a battlefield, probably you. And then up to 1 target creature gets -1/-1 until end of turn for each zombie that player controls. So really cool even without any zombies out on the board already. Especially powerful when you do have some out. We have an Uvenwall Captive for a flip. Alright, so next pack, we start off with the Fortune's Favor. It's a fun card. When it looks at the top 4 cards of your library and separates them in a face down and face up pile. Put one of those piles in your hand and the other in your graveyard. Geist of the Archives. Markov Crusader. And we have another mythic. It's a Grim Flare. So this is the black and green human warrior 2/2. That's trample. Whenever it deals combat damage to a player, look at the top 3 cards of your library, put any number of them into your graveyard, and the rest back on top of your library in any order. And if you have Delirium enabled, it gets +2/+2. Pretty cool. Our flip is an Extricator of Sin. Flips into an Extricator of Flesh, and we have a pretty sweet foil rare. A Spoke Weller. Very cool. So this will definitely be playing, seeing some play in some sort, especially early on. We'll see how well Spirit decks go, but it is a pretty cool card. So for 1 white and blue, which fits into not only Spirit decks but Bant, so we'll see how that goes as well. But the 2/3 flyer with Flash, that alone is pretty cool. Not amazing, but pretty cool. But the really cool ability it does have is that when it enters the battlefield, you can exile a target spell with a converted mana cost of 4 or less, and then when this leaves the battlefield, the exiled card's owner may cast that card without paying its mana cost. Pretty cool. Pretty pumped that that was the foil rare. Not that it will be the only one, but probably will be the only one. Just because of how boxes are laid out. Alright, next pack we have a Slayer's Cleaver. Give No Ground. This is a very strange card. You could defend the entire attacking board with 1 creature. It gets +2/+6. Murder. Good removal, which I'm sure we'll see a lot of play. And we have Resplendent Reclamations. This is the crazy sorcerer that returns all land cards from your graveyard to the battlefield tapped for 3 and a green. I'm sure this will be a major piece somewhere in an older format. We have a Conduit of Storms for our flip. Flips into a Conduit of Emrakul. That pack opened very strangely. Alright, so skip on to the uncommons. First one we got is an Emrakul's Influence. Clear Shot. A Vexing Scuttler. And the rare is a Sigarda's Aid. The 1 cost for white enchantment, which lets you cast auras and equipments as if they had flash, which is pretty sweet. A lot of different things in all the formats you can do with that. And whenever an equipment enters the battlefield under your control, you may attach it to target creature you control. I still haven't quite looked up. I'm sure it's been clarified by now, but I haven't looked up whether or not that means you can attach it without paying the equip cost. I kind of doubt that's the case, but because that would be crazy powerful. We have a Graph Rats. I think we have a foil. Yeah. Come on. Our foil is a Falconwrath Reaver, which is just a 2/2 vampire. Get something sweet. Alright, so next card, next pack, and the first uncommon is a Shreds of Sanity. Liliana's Elite. Another Lashweed, or I don't know if I already pulled this one. I don't think so yet. Lashweed Lurker. And we have a Bedlam Reveler. This is the 6 and 2 red, but It's Devil Horror, 3/4 for 16 red, but it costs 1 less to cast for each instant and sorcery in your graveyard. So it could be relatively cheap by then. By the time you actually cast it, it has prowess. And when it enters the battlefield, you can discard your hand, or I guess you don't have the option. You discard your hand and then draw 3 cards. Pretty neat. Then we have a Smoldering Werewolf. Which flips into an Erupting Dreadwolf. Video is also the first video I'm recording with the new camera. That is an extended period of time, so hopefully it works out better than my phone camera was. Next pack, first in common, we have a Thirsty Axe, a Mockery of Nature, Insatiable Gorgers, and an Eldritch Evolution. This is one of those cards that will probably be broken. 1 and 2 green sorcery. As an additional cost to cast it, you sacrifice a creature, but then you go search your library for a creature card with a converted mana cost X or less, where X is 2 plus the sacrificed creature's converted mana cost. Put that card on the battlefield, then shuffle your library, then you exile the card. We have a Lone Rider, as well as a Bruna. So we got the combo there, or the meld. 5 and 2 whites, a legendary creature. It's Angel Horror. She is a 5/7 flyer with vigilance, and then when you cast Bruna, you may return target angel or human creature card from the graveyard to the battlefield. And of course, it melds into Brazella. Yeah, I think that's what it's called. I don't know how many times you guys have played and sealed so far with the pre-release, or how much you've cracked so far of the set. No, it's still pretty early, so you might not have it all, but let me know what you guys think so far. We'll be playing plenty more of it, I'm sure, once it comes out on MTGO. First uncommon of this pack is a Campaign of Vengeance, a Spreading Flames, Scour the Laboratory, and Impetuous Devils. This is a 2 and 2 red trampler with haste, 6/1 devil. When it attacks, up to 1 target creature the defending player controls blocks it, this combat if able, and then at the beginning of the end step, you sacrifice it. And we have a Shrill Howler that flips into a Howling Chorus. Hoping to pull Liliana. Should have at least 2 or 3 more mythics, I think, right? One of them was in the flip slot, so see how it turns out. First card is a Ruthless Disposal. There's an additional cost to cast it. Discard a card and sacrifice a creature, but then 2 target creatures get -13, -13. It's pretty brutal. Advanced Stitchwing, Gnarlwood Dryad, and a Stormkirk Occultist. This is a 2/1 vampire horror creature. It's a 3/2 that has trample. When it does combat damage to your player, exile a top card of your library until end of turn. You may play that card. It also has a madness cost of 1 and a red. And then a flip is an Extricator of Sin. I don't think that one's that great, but gotta have a vampire deck that works really well, and I don't think that's a good piece of it. Next pack, starting off, we have Blessed Alliance, Give No Ground, Incendiary Flow, and Athalia. Sweet. So she's also the buy a box promo if you don't already know, which reminds me, I think I put the buy a box promo in the shirt front pocket. I gotta go grab that when I'm done with this, but she's pretty sweet. So which makes the buy a box promo one of the better ones in recent history, our memory. But for 2 and a white, you get a legendary creature, human soldier for 3/2. She has first strike. But her other ability is the fact that whenever your opponent plays a creature and non-basic land, they come into play tapped. Pretty nuts. Then we have a Conduit of Storms for the flip. Flips into a Conduit of Emrakul. Yeah, Thalia is pretty cool. Take a nice sip of beer. Let's go on to the next pack. Alright, so we have a Repel the Abominable, Faith Unbroken, Gnarlwood Dryad, and a Gyre Reach Sanitarium. So this is a legendary land in the set. It's not very many lands in this one because it's smaller. You can tap to add a colorless to your mana pool, or pay 2 and tap. Each player draws a card and discards a card. The Keswick Prowler, which can transform into Sinuous Predator. Alright. Gyre Reach Sanitarium is a weird land. I don't, I guess Mana Stacks it might be something, but we haven't really seen much of that yet. Whispers of Emrakul, which is nuts when you have Delirium, because discard 2 instead of 1 at random. We have a Ride Down, Insatiable Gorgers, and the rare is a Distended Mindbender. So I've been playing with this card the past couple days on duels, and it's pretty nuts. You could take 2 cards from your hand a lot of the time, especially when you can cast it turn 4, I think, with a Mana Dork out there especially. Put that over there, and then our flip is a Tangleclaw Werewolf, which flips into a Fibrous Entangler. Alright, we have Haunted Dead for the first uncommon. Courageous Outrider. Weaver of Lightning. And a Collective Defiance. Pretty cool red sorcery. 1 and 2 red. It also has an escalate cost of 1. It's got 3 modes. You could discard all the cards in your hand, then draw that many cards. You can deal 4 damage to target creature. or it can also do 3 damage to target opponent. Pretty cool. And our flip is a Curious Homunculus, which is pretty interesting. Mana dork only for instant or sorcery spells, but if you have 3 or more in your graveyard, flips into a Voracious Reader. It looks like we have a foil Haunted Dead. Put these in your piles. Next pack, we have Emrakul's Influence, Vexing Scuttler, another Murder, and another Spell Queller. It's pretty cool. Can't get too many of these, I don't think, because I wouldn't mind actually trying this deck out either. Of course, we've already read what it does, so we won't do that again. And then I build in Pack Outcast. Alright, so next one we got a Blood Mist. We have a creature double strike, Rise from the Grave. Insatiable Gorgers. And a Wharf Infiltrator. The 1 in a blue human horror, it's a 1/1. It has Skulk. Whenever it does damage to a player, you may draw a card. If you do, discard a card. Whenever you discard a creature card, you may pay 2, and if you do, you can put a 3/2 colorless Eldrazi horror creature token on the battlefield. Could create some really cool combos with that, with madness cards. Tangle Claw Werewolf is the flip. Still have a decent amount of packs left. Just always cool to see. Alright, we have Fury Blade Vampire. Unsubstantiate. Pretty cool spell with bouncing your spells or creatures. Drogskull Shieldmate. And Emrakul's Evangel. 2 in green, 3/2 human horror. You get to tap it, sacrifice it, and any number of other non-Eldrazi creatures, and you replace them with 3/2 Eldrazi horror creature tokens. We have a Midnight Scavengers. Alright, next pack we have Lunar Force. Weird Counterspell Enchantment. Savage Alliance. Chilling Grasp. Tap and keep them tapped for a turn for 2 creatures. And the rare is a Sanctifier of Souls. Wah, wah. This is one of the intro pack rares. Sanctifier of Souls is a 3 and 1 white, 2/3 human cleric creature. Whenever another creature enters the battlefield under your control, it gets +1/+1. You can pay 2 and a white, exile a creature card from your graveyard, and put a 1/1 white spirit creature token on the flying on the battlefield. It's really not terrible. And another Graph Rats. Next pack, we have Abandoned Reason, Clear Shot, Courageous Outrider, and a Mirror-Winged Dragon. So this is the 3/2 red dragon creature. It's a 4/5 flyer. Then whenever you cast an instant or sorcery spell attack, it's only it. Targets only the dragon, that is. The player who is targeting the dragon copies the spell for all the creatures that they control. And a Midnight Scavengers, as well as a Voldaren Pariah. So this is 3/2 black, 3/3 vampire horror creature with flying. You can sacrifice 3 other creatures, 3 transformer. You can also cast her for madness of 3 black. And she transforms into Abolisher of Bloodlines, which is a 6/5 flyer. When it transforms into this, target opponent sacrifices 3 creatures, so you have to sacrifice 3 to flip it. But then your opponent has to sack 3 as well, so if you're sacrificing tokens, this is pretty nuts. I think I already pulled Mirror-Winged Dragon in some of the other packs I've opened so far. So not quite the mythic I'm looking for, but it's fine. Alright, next pack. Starting off with another Unsubstantiate. Geist of Lonely Vigil. Mercurial Geists. The rare is an Oath of Liliana. 2 and a black legendary enchantment. When it enters the battlefield, each opponent sacrifices a creature. And then as well, at the beginning of each end step, if your planeswalker entered the battlefield on your controller's turn, you put a 2/2 black zombie creature token on the battlefield. We have a Keswick Prowler, as well as a Foliage Swamp. Take a sip of some more beer while I grab a pack. Let's pull Liliana. Let's try. First uncommon in this pack is Mockery of Nature. Nephalia Academy. Vampire Cutthroat. And Spirit of the Hunt. Pretty cool art. See if I can get in close there. This is a 1/2 green, 3/3 flash wolf spirit. When it enters the battlefield, each other creature you control that is a wolf or a werewolf gets +0/+3 until end of turn. Then we have a Grizzled Angler that flips into a Grizzly Anglerfish. Alright, so we have Whispers of Emrakul, Geist of the Lonely Vigil, Dusk Feaster. Another mythic, we have an Ishkana Graph Widow. This one's got a lot of popularity. Sort of failing to see why. I mean, it's pretty cool, I guess. But it's got some value that you kind of wouldn't expect, I think. So it's a 4 and a green legendary spider creature for 3/5 less reach. So that alone is okay. But if you have Delirium enabled, you also get 3 1/2 tokens out of it. The spiders. And then you can pay 6 and a black and have a target opponent lose 1 life for each spider you control. So it could be really cool in a Commander EDH deck. We have Uvenwald Captive, which flips into Uvenwald Abomination, and we have another rare. We have a Docent of Perfection. I think that's how you pronounce that. Docent, I'm not sure. 3 and 2 blue. It's an insect horror creature. It's a 5/4. It's got flying. Whenever you cast an instant or sorcery spell, put a 1/1 blue human wizard creature token on the battlefield. Then if you control 3 or more wizards, transform it into Final Iteration. It's a 6/5 flyer. Wizards you control get +2/+1 and have flying. Whenever you cast an instant or sorcery spell, you pump out another human wizard. It's pretty cool. May have hit our mythic ceiling at this point. Hopefully we get one more though. First card out of this pack, we have a Nebelgast Herald, a Slayer's Cleaver, Ride Down, and Summary Dismissal. This is the basically counter spell for all spells and abilities for 2 and 2 blue, except it also exiles them. We have a Vildan Pack Outcast for a flip. Alright, dude. It's getting kind of messy over here. Next pack, starting off, we have a Graph Harvest, Subjugator Angel, Crop Sigil, and Eternal Scourge. This is a 3/3 for 3 Eldrazi Horror. You can cast it from exile. It's interesting. Whenever it becomes a target of a spell or ability opponent controls, exile it. So that's why you're able to cast it from exile, because it could easily be exiled. But that's a pretty cool card, I think. I like that design. We have another Uvenwald Captive, Uvenwald Abomination, and we have another Bruna. Alright. Too bad she's really not going to see much play in Standard, I'm sure, because of her cost. Just so we can get to see some melding going on, but probably not going to happen. Next pack, we have Savage Alliance, Prying Questions, Drog Skull Shieldmate, and Uvenwald Observer. 4 and 2 green, 6/6 Tree Folk. Whenever the creature you control with toughness 4 or greater dies, draw a card. It's good in a heavier curve limited deck, I think, but not much beyond that. I don't really think it's going to see much play. And another Graph Rats. Taking another sip of beer before I'll show you guys the uncommons. First card, we have a Lunar Force, Chilling Grasp, Somber Walled Stag. I think that's the first one I've seen of that so far. And we have another Imprisoned by the Moon, or Prison in the Moon, excuse me. And a Smoldering Werewolf. Alright, so next pack we have A Peace of Mind, Markov Crusader, Johnyard Behemoth, and an Elder Deep Fiend. One of the more powerful emerge cards, that's for sure. So it's an 8 drop for 5/6, but it's got flash and of course an emerge cost of 5 and 2 blue. So it could be as cheap as 2 blue, and then when you cast it, tap up to 4 target permanents. Could be a major blowout. Uvenwald Captive again. And then we have a foil Geist of the Lonely Vigil. It's very dark, unfortunately. So there's not much to see. But still cool, it's a foil. Alright, down to last 4 packs here. We have another Peace of Mind starting off. Another Johnyard Behemoth. A Vampire Cutthroat. And a rare is a Bloodhall Priest. So I don't think I've seen this one yet, or at least haven't pulled it. So this is 2 black and red Vampire Cleric for 4/4. Whenever it enters a battlefield or attacks, if you have no cards in hand, it deals 2 damage to target creature or player. You can also cast it for a menace cost of 1 and a black and red. Not sure I'm a fan of, I can't remember what the mechanic's called, but having no cards in hand. Flip is a Curious Homunculus. Of course, flips into a Voracious Reader. Third to last pack. Alright, we have a Shreds of Sanity, Liliana's Elite, Noose Constrictor. The art is so weird. Our rare is a Mind's Dilation for probably our last mythic, which kind of stinks, but this is an interesting one at least, that's for sure. So it's an enchantment, 5 and 2 blue. Whenever an opponent casts his or her first spell each turn, that player exiles the top card of his or her library. If it's a non-land card, you may cast it without paying its mana cost. So I don't know what this card is trying to achieve, but it's something unique, that's for sure. And another Graph Rat. It's got a lot of those. Second to last pack. Take another sip. Alright, we have a Geist Field Scarecrow, Morn Willow, Weaver of Lightning, and our rare is a Permeating Mass. So this is the 1/3 creature. It only costs you 1, which is interesting alone, but the really cool mechanic of this card is that whenever it does combat damage to a creature, that creature that it does combat damage to becomes a copy of Permeating Mass. So you end up with a board of just a bunch of these. And then we have a Lone Rider as the flip. Alright, last pack. I'm going to finish off this beer. See what we get. Alright, we have Abandoned Reason, the first uncommon. Hamlet Captain. Subjugator Angel. And the rare is a Heron's Grace Champion. It's a 3/3 human knight for 2 green and white. It's got flash, lifelink, and when it enters the battlefield, other humans you control get +1/+1 and gain lifelink until end of turn. It seems like a pretty decent card. I don't know if it'll find a place in like the Banned Human deck though. Sure, someone might try it out. Pretty cool card. I like it. Another Vildan Pack Outcast, and we have a foil Spontaneous Mutation, which again is really dark. That's weird. Like the art in the non-foil can't be that dark, right? It's like almost pitch black in some spots. But it is what it is. Alright, so put this over here, that over there. We'll move stuff out of the way. Just go over the rares real quick. So, of course, go back in reverse order of what I just opened. So we have a Heron's Grace Champion, Permeating Mass, Mind's Dilation, oops, sorry about that, Bloodhall Priest, Elder Deep Fane, Imprisoned in the Moon, Uthenwald Observer, Eternal Scourge, Bruna, Summer Dismissal, Ishkana, Graf Widow, Docent of Perfection, Spirit of the Hunt, Oath of Liliana, Mirrowing Dragon, Valdarin Pariah, Sanctifier of Souls, Emrakul's Evangel, Wharf Infiltrator, Spell Queller, Collective Defiance, Distended Mindbender, Gaia Reach Sanitarium, Thalia, Heretic Cathar, Stormkirk Occultist, Impetuous Devils, Bruna, Eldritch Evolution, Bedlam Reveler, Sigarda's Aid, Splendid Reclamation, Grim Flare, Dark Salvation, Providence, Newscraft Mob, Harmless Offering, Assembled Alphas, Gisela, which is awesome, Soul Separator, Collective Brutality, and the first rare we opened was a Coax from the Blind Eternities. And then the foils we pulled were Spontaneous Mutation, Geist of the Lonely Vigil, Haunted Dead, Falconwrath Reaver, Olivia's Dragoon, Bloodbriar, and the full rare ended up being a Spell Queller. It's pretty neat. Oh, also Full Swamp. Can't forget the Full Swamp. Alright guys, so that was another beer in a box. Hope you guys enjoyed it. I have some more Eldritch Moon for you guys, at least one fat pack, and some more boxes on its way. I actually might end up doing a challenge at work where 4 of us open up a box and make a seal deck out of it. So I might, if we do that, I might try to share some snippets of that event with you guys. I think that'd be really cool. So hopefully I can. And until next video, guys, I will catch you later.